I had made my choice to repay the Hartley family for raising me, even if it meant severing ties with my loved ones. From now on, I and my family, my lover, we don't owe each other anything and won't see each other for long. I'm willing to be your mistress, just spare the Hartley family. I stayed silent, signing the agreement in front of me without hesitation. After finalizing the deal, I returned home. The moment I approached the door, heated voices erupted from within. I stepped inside, ready to tell them the matter had been resolved. Before I could speak, my brother's hand struck me hard across the face. Lauren Hartley, how could you be so selfish? You're protecting your luxurious life by forcing Fiona to become Davian Sinclair's mistress? His voice was sharp with anger. Davian Sinclair is our family's enemy. He's infamous for his cruelty and temper. How could Fiona have a good life with him? I knew the truth. Davian's demand for a Hartley daughter to be his mistress was pure vengeance. My brother and Noah would never let Fiona Merrick go, so I made the decision for them. Fiona tugged at my brother's sleeve with teary eyes as I opened my mouth to explain. It's okay, brother. I'll do it for the Hartley family. Besides, if I refuse, Lauren might push me into the pool again. Before I could defend myself, my brother and Noah exchanged a glance and dragged me toward the pool. The two in the throes of anger simply couldn't listen to any of my explanations. Wait, my protests were drowned out as they pushed me into the icy water. I struggled several times to come up, but my head was pressed down, and I could only let the cold water pour in through my ears and nose. My vision blurred as my consciousness began to slip away. When I finally gasped for air, shivering and coughing, I saw them embracing Fiona by the poolside, whispering comforting words. Don't worry, Fiona, my brother said gently. You're making a huge sacrifice for the Hartley family. We'll never let Lauren bully you again. Once you're back from Davian, I'll marry you with the grandest ceremony. Absolutely, Noah agreed. I'll even give you Lauren's dowry. It's the least she owes you. Their affection for Fiona stung more than the freezing water. I bit my lip, swallowing the bitter words I wanted to hurl at them. There was no point in speaking, no one would listen, and no one would believe me. Dragging myself out of the pool, soaked and trembling, I faced the cold wind. Yet the chill in my heart far surpassed the cold outside. Noah glanced at me, a flicker of guilt crossing his face, but it was fleeting. As I stood shivering, drenched and humiliated, Noah took off his coat and began walking toward me. But a few steps away, Fiona suddenly sneezed. Instantly, he turned back, draping his coat over her shoulders and holding her hands close to his chest to warm them. My brother quickly instructed the housekeeper to prepare ginger tea for her. I let out a bitter laugh and trudged back to my room alone, ignoring the cold that seeped through my soaked clothes. After what felt like hours, Noah entered my room, carrying a bowl of ginger tea that had already gone cold. Lauren, I know you're my childhood sweetheart and fiancé, he began, his tone heavy with supposed guilt. But Fiona sacrificed herself for your sake. I can let you stay by my side, but the title of Mrs. Radford will only ever belong to Fiona. It's what we owe her. I stared at him. The man who once swore to love me for a lifetime was now reduced to a stranger spouting lies. The sheer irony made me laugh inwardly. Be Davian Sinclair's mistress to repay the Hartley family for raising me. Fine. But to become Noah's mistress. For what? For love. The bond we shared as childhood sweethearts had shattered the moment he chose Fiona over me. I swallowed my pride, pointed at the door and demanded he leave. Noah didn't move, but Fiona waltzed into the room with a bright smile. Here, let me feed you the ginger tea. You wouldn't want to catch a cold. Before I could react, Fiona reached for the spoon in my hand. In the tussle, a few drops of the tea splashed onto her hand. She gasped dramatically, her eyes welling with tears as she looked at me accusingly. Why do you hate me so much, sister? I know I'm just a driver's daughter and don't deserve to be a Hartley family foster child, but I'll leave soon. I won't threaten your place in their hearts anymore. Why keep making things difficult for me? Enough, Lauren. Noah exploded, shoving me aside. Fiona's already suffered enough. Why can't you just leave her alone? Noah pushed me away with one hand. My feet were unsteady. I stumbled and fell to the floor, shards of broken porcelain embedding into my hand. Blood trickled down my palm, but Noah didn't spare me a glance. Instead, he and my brother fussed over Fiona, fretting over her non-existent burn. As my blood dripped onto the cold floor, I looked up to see my mother standing at the top of the staircase, her face dark with anger. Finally, I let my frustration spill over. Mom? Silence, she snapped, cutting me off. She dismissed the housekeeper who tried to help me, then strode forward with a cup of tea in hand. Without hesitation, she splashed its contents onto my face. Fiona lost her father, she's already suffered enough, and you still dare to bully her. What would people say about the Hartley family if this got out? Lauren, how could you repay the Hartley family's kindness with such ingratitude? The blood from my palm continued to pool on the floor, draining away the last remnants of warmth I felt for this family. I raised my head and looked toward the living room's centerpiece, a spot that once displayed a family portrait of all of us together. Now, it held only my father's framed photograph. When my father was alive, I was the little princess of the capital, envied by everyone. My brother, Jason Hartley, doted on me, and Noah worshipped the ground I walked on. My life was filled with luxury, jewels and endless affection. But this happiness came to an abrupt end with a car accident. Dad and the driver died unexpectedly. Before his death, the driver entrusted Fiona to the Hartley family. To everyone's surprise, the Hartley family suddenly fell from grace, and both daughters became nothing more than commodities for sale. Fiona moved quickly, pretending to be innocent and pitiful to win everyone's sympathy. They felt sorry for her, worried about the Hartley family's reputation, and feared she would suffer even the slightest hardship. But no one cared about how difficult it was for me having lost my father, and being abandoned by everyone. Lauren, what are you standing there for? Hurry up and apologize to Fiona. My brother and Noah glared at me, but when they saw the pool of blood on the floor, their faces froze. Noah hesitated, stepping forward. I didn't know you were hurt this badly. Let me help you. No need. My cold response made him uneasy. Suppressing his frustration, he tried to calm down. Stop being childish. Given the current situation of the Hartley family, no one has the energy to pamper you. I'll go buy you some handmade chocolates from East Street later. Be good. Don't make things worse. I had always been afraid of pain and hardship. Even when I scraped my skin as a child, they would comfort me for hours. Whenever I was sick, my brother and Noah would buy me handmade chocolates from East Street to cheer me up. But now, the chocolate shop on East Street has been closed for a long time. I didn't even like chocolate anymore. I quietly tended to my wound, then spent the rest of the day packing my things. Looking at the familiar room, I felt a mix of emotions. This was the princess room my brother Noah had personally designed for me. It was every girl's dream. I still remember when friends visited, their envious eyes fixed on everything. Lauren, move to the basement for a while and let Fiona have your room. My brother's voice brought me back from my memories. Before I could respond, the two of them eagerly began packing up my things. Fiona eyed my pearl necklace and reached for it. My wooden sculpture crashed to the floor and broke into 2 pieces. Noah casually kicked it aside. Seeing my dark expression, he quickly added, "It's not a big deal really. I'll buy you a new one later." Under their stunned gazes, I threw the remaining belongings into the trash. Everything in this house, along with the memories of old affections, I wanted none of it. Lauren, what kind of tantrum are you throwing now? You've already ruined this home. My brother's face was livid, but he fell silent when he noticed the photo album lying in the trash. He had always been a perfectionist. Now, he bent down, picked up the album and carefully wiped it clean. His tone softened. I know the family situation has been hard on you, but you can't take it out on Fiona. She's the one who gave the Hartley family a lifeline. She's our benefactor. He placed the cleaned album in my hands. That thin book chronicled the story of the 3 of us. From the day I was born to my first words. From playing house to our official engagement. The 3 of us had grown closer with time, almost becoming a real family. But love, when too deep, becomes fragile. Too much of anything leads to destruction. That little bit of difference was the gap that pushed us into becoming strangers to the path of never seeing each other again. After they left, I lit the photo album on fire. Years of memories and feelings were reduced to ashes. In the flickering flames, my phone vibrated. It was a message from Davian reminding me that our agreement's deadline was approaching. Attached was a link to an article with the headline, "Sinclair family heir spends millions on a pink diamond necklace for his future mistress." In the accompanying interview, Davian exuded arrogance, his expression utterly self-assured. If the Hartley family is willing to offer their daughter as my mistress, the least I can do is treat her well. The news had gone viral, sparking outrage online. But strangely, I felt calm. I woke up early on the 3rd day, hoping to say goodbye to my family. I saw Fiona crying in Noah's arms when I entered the living room. My brother and Noah rushed to comfort her. One swore his undying love, the other vowed to confront Davian head-on. I didn't interrupt. Instead, I quietly sat down and began knitting a scarf. Davian had presented me with such a gift. It was only fair that I prepared something in return. Noah shot me an annoyed glance. Seeing I didn't respond, my brother grabbed the yarn from my hands. The thread scraped against my healing wound, reopening it. Blood seeped out, staining the white yarn red. The scarf I had worked on through sleepless nights was ruined. Tears I had suppressed for so long finally spilled over. I looked up at them, my voice trembling. If I were the one going to the Sinclair family, would you be reacting like this?